Hello race fans, I'm James Dimmitt with Dimmitt Race Videos, and this is The Pit Stop. On this episode, I'm with the driver of the #1 street stock. He's been around for a while, Randy Weese. Randy, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for the interview.
Absolutely. You had a pretty exciting time last week breaking the track record, getting a new record for the street stock division.
Yeah, that was exciting. We really had her dialed in really good last week, so I hope that stays for a while, but you know, records are made to be broken, so it'll happen.
What I thought was interesting is that you broke your own record.
That is correct. We had it and then we broke it, so that made it even twice as exciting.
Yep, if I look at my notes here, before last week you had a official time or qualifying time of 16.714, and then last week you broke it with a 16.622, so almost a full 1/10 of a second faster.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was awesome. We finally got her hooked up and dialed in.
How did you get the nickname the Bandit?
That actually came from many years ago, which I've been out here about 28 years, so it's probably a good 24 years ago that I actually had a sponsor on the car, Skoll Copenhagen, and they had a product. I don't know if they called it the Bandit or what they did, but they had that on their chew, which I never have done. But they actually came to me and said, "We want to have you, want to be on the car." So I said, "That's all right." And somehow or another, the name the Bandit stuck with it from that. And then, of course, everybody back in those days not only called me that, but they said I used to kind of come out of nowhere in the end and sneak up and get them, kind of like a bandit, and that was exciting. Good to hear.
You won your first street stock championship in 1998. How difficult was that?
Very difficult. There were some guys back then. I'll run a couple names by you here. Louis Tondini, who was a very well-known name around here. Carl Quaz, Gary Sanders, guys that are old school racers and tough, hard-nosed racers. And it wasn't easy to do. No championship comes easy. I always say that to people. And there's a lot of luck involved too in racing, as well as skill and getting your car dialed in. But getting that first one was great, and I believe it was 5 years later we got our second one, even more exciting. But now I've been kind of, I'm here every week supporting the track, and if something like that happened again, so be it. If not, it's no big deal to me. I just enjoy the camaraderie here and just the fact that I got a lot of buddies here, and we love the sport.
Well, you've certainly been running in the top 5 most of the season, so I would say that's pretty competitive.
Yeah, we've got a good car. This is Jake Bradley's old street stock. Many people knew him. Built by Matt Olson, very well-known name in car building, and he put together a very good one. Jake did very well in it. And when Jake moved up to the Mid-Am Series is when I got this car from him, and it's been a good car ever since. We've been able to keep it in one piece. It's had its banged-up days, but it's a good one. It knows how to go around that corner.
Now, you were also inducted into the Maison Speed Bowl Grundy County Speedway Hall of Fame. How did you feel about that honor?
I'll tell you, that was very exciting. I wish I could remember my speech that I gave that time. I know it was quite long, and I went over a lot of stuff about the history of racing in here. And we have visited a few other tracks, Ileana Motor Speedway, Rockford Speedway, Plymouth Speedway. So we haven't been just a one-track wonder here. But this is my home. This is what I like, and getting inducted into that was definitely an honor, and I thank the people that voted for me for that, and I feel privileged with that. I'll tell you, the competition, as the years go by, the competition is stiffer and stiffer and better, and you got to keep up with it, or they're going to leave you in the dust, so to speak. But I love it.
How did you get started in racing?
I actually got started with Pat Kelly was the one who got me into that. He used to keep his street stock back when he was in a street stock out in a barn out in the front of where I lived. And one day they invited me up there to take a look at it, and I checked it out and then went out and watched Pat numerous times race, and my kids were really young then, and eventually I ended up getting a car from them and getting going in that. And Pat and John Kelly are the two that have really kind of got me into it.
Now, one of the features you won this season was the Candyman race in honor of Ed the Candyman Mahoney, and you've had a relationship with the Mahoney family for quite a while. I'm sure that had to be quite a thrill for you to win that race.
That was very exciting. I had gotten it one time before, but ended up getting a disqualification for a low fuel cell in the car, which, you take that with a grain of salt. It is what it is. And but this time here was really special to get that. Tim couldn't be here that night. I know he was excited about it when he did get the news, as he's been on the car for about the last 10 years as a sponsor of him. And not sure where that's going this coming next year, but him and I have talked briefly about it, about maybe our carpet store taking that over and keeping that going. So I hate to see that end. A lot of the street stock guys love that race, and they look forward to it all year. Kind of one of them you put on your calendar, and it's like, I'm going to get in that one,
What do you remember about Ed?
Climbing the wall in front of me one time and up over the scoreboard when the scoreboard used to be down in 3 and 4. A lot of people may not even realize there was a scoreboard there. But the strange thing about that is when he climbed up over that wall and went outside of the track, my daughter and her husband were actually in their car parked just outside of that, a little ways away, but they're just getting ready to get out of their car and come into the speedway, and they go, here comes this race car over the wall, and we're sitting in our car like, what in the world? And he was another one in a racer back in the days of the guys that I named earlier, the Carl Quazes and Tadinis of the world, and he used to be good. He was very, very competitive.
What do you like to do away from the track for fun?
Away from the track, I love to go fishing. I love fishing for walleye. My daughter lives up in Wisconsin, which we are probably a year, maybe 2, away from me retiring and actually getting out of Illinois and moving to Wisconsin. That's what I want to do, is get me a cabin on the lake and go fishing all the time and drink some beer.
I know you probably don't get to watch too much baseball, but if you do, are you a Cubs or a Sox fan?
I am a White Sox fan, Southsiders. I actually grew up in Joliet, Illinois, and my mother, no longer with us, God bless her soul, but she was a diehard Cubs fan. And I remember coming home from school many a years, and she'd be sitting on the couch watching them Cubs. That's back in the day of Ron Santo and Ernie Banks and guys like that. And I sure have nothing against the Cubs. They're a team I like, but it seems like maybe it's something about the White Sox. I love their colors that they have. They're a decent team. They're not a top-notch team, but I love watching baseball too. I played it for a lot of years. Actually played hardball for 4 years over in Joliet. They had a league over there. It's called the Latin American League. And I did pretty good as a center fielder. So I enjoyed it, but, good old age catches up with you, and it's hard to do some of them things.
So talking about the colors and stuff like that, you always have like one of the best decorated cars. You come up with a lot of interesting themes and colors and all that through the years. Who gets to decide on that? Who picks that out?
That is me. I'm the one that kind of I look at a lot of cars, be it on the racetrack, NASCAR cars, just other tracks, guys that have kind of unique paint jobs, something different, a different wrap of some sort. And I would bet you probably the last 10 years, every single year, I've changed the color of the car or the wrap of the car just to make it different and make it more exciting. The fans, I think, love that. The kids especially love it. They love this particular one that we picked this year. And I've always been patriotic. I love the red, white, and blue. I love our country and support our country and what we're able to do here with our freedom. So I'm proud to show it.
Well, you certainly do that. I want to wish you luck tonight. Wish you luck with the rest of the season. Thanks for the interview.
You betcha. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching.